What's up, everybody? It's James from Supra, and with me are the founders. We have Josh Tobkin and John Jones. Gentlemen, welcome back to our monthly community call.
It's good to be here.
Great to be here. Good to see you, James.
Yeah,
I decided to
you
stand
guys.
up.
Yeah,
I was jealous of.
Maybe I should stand up here.
we're going to see some extra creativity out of you, I believe, John.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
Let's do it. So, we've got a deck which you're going to run through, Josh. But just by way of how you guys are feeling right now, it's been a really busy year. There's so much happening, and the best part is probably the most exciting part is the amount of deployments and new protocols that we've seen go live on the L1. How are you guys feeling in general?
To be completely honest, I'm stoked, man. This is like the beginning. This is the beginning of the AutoFi revolution, as we discussed, but also really because of Supernova and proof of efficient liquidity protocol. We'll talk more about that today.
Totally, and also the fact that we have all our ecosystem partners just urging and basically saying, "Hey, let's go." They're on testnet, ready for mainnet, and ready for deployment. So all we need is the stable bridge up, and then we can really start attracting TVL, liquidity, and really bootstrapping these DeFi protocols. We have 2 DEXs launching, and we have 2 borrow and lending protocols. So just really excited among the many more that are coming up.
Yeah, as Web3 Sniper says there in the comments, Supra is unstoppable. Truly, like as all of these get rolled out, it is looking pretty unstoppable. So thanks for that one, Web3 Sniper. Radical says sup. Crypto Millivat says sup. Ticker says start the juicer, baby. Start the juicer, Josh. Start the juicer, man. Mr. Bullrun, welcome to you. Sup to you. And Muscle369 says sup as well. Victor Wymus, sup. Good evening from the Philippines. Good evening, man. Josh, you're in Hong Kong. And John, are you still in Taiwan or have you made the
I'm
move?
in Taiwan. Ni hao.
Ni hao.
I just got back from the States. I mean, so I just got over jet lag. No, it's good to be back though.
Quick.
Yeah. Basically, just don't sleep and don't eat for a day, right, John? You actually taught me that.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can do that.
If you fast in the airplane, you can actually you can speed up your recovery for jet lag.
Oh, that's helpful. Do you have to can you at least drink water?
Oh yeah. Drink water.
Oh,
just avoid calories.
That's helpful to know, actually. I'll do
Soda
that.
water.
Not Diet Coke.
Aspartame, man, you know?
Danger. All right, Josh, you've got a deck to run through a couple of updates. So I'm going to give you some time there to share your screen, man, and take us through what's good in the Supra ecosystem. So while you do that, quick shout out to CryptoFab, Unbearable Bull. We got Varmos as well from Iraq. That's a cool place. We haven't had an Iraq viewer before, so that's awesome. Thanks, Varmos.
Someone said hello from Australia.
Yeah,
some of
mate.
you might not know I'm actually Australian. My dad is from Adelaide. I grew up in the US, but I have I'm Australian. I got a passport.
I did.
He's also American.
American
also.
All right.
I'm
American Australian living in Taiwan.
New York.
I mean, like, that's great.
Taiwan
That's
now,
great.
But John, you're moving back to the States soon, right?
Yeah, the plan is to move to Florida. My wife's Taiwanese, so the visa process right now is ongoing. It's happening, but that's the plan.
Yeah, so I mean, it is wild. So we had Philippines, we had Iraq, Australia, USA, Colombia. Cool. That is great. I mean, if you go ahead, post where Africa, post where you're from. I mean, Super has, I think we had like over 50 countries represented in our our Project Blastoff. And it is a truly global phenomenon, and we appreciate that. And let's jump into, I actually have a presentation to go through. We want to talk about some timelines and some updates. Let me jump into this real quick here. I already got Texas and Ghana. Okay, I can't see the screen anymore because I'm sharing the slideshow here.
That's all good. Belgium, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Melbourne is where Ramu's from. So
wow,
it's a truly international show today. I'm loving this.
Sweet.
Marshall's
It really
repping
is
the
cool.
UK.
Nice, nice. That's really awesome. And we've got South Africa, right? I'm in Hong Kong. I'm half Korean. Counts as Korea too. Let's go. Okay, so y'all can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna move forward here. So this is the eighth community call, right? I mean, it's so funny when folks are like, "Oh, you guys are not communicating enough." I'm like, "Well, we do monthly community calls. We've been doing like weekly webinars. We were on like 4 other podcasts, and we were a keynote, and it's not going to stop, right?" So content creation takes time, and content consumption and distribution takes time. So step by step, this is the same thing we did before TG. It takes time to percolate and for folks to share it, et cetera. And if you like our content, please share it. Okay, but let's jump into the meat of the conversation today. So Supra is a vertically integrated layer one smart contract platform, really fast consensus. I mean, we haven't really taken off all the kind of artificial delays and safety nets and training wheels on our consensus algorithm. It's all about stability first, right? But these things can go really fast from moonshot to hydrangea. And so everyone knows hydrangea consensus is considered the like physical limit for consensus protocols, right? We're talking about faster than Alpenglow or comparable with better security. It's hydrangea is faster than moonshot. In fact, moonshot's basically the fallback for hydrangea, right? So these are pushing the limits, and we're on the ball here. And what's really interesting is that academia is reaching out to us. We have folks from Ethereum Foundation, Solana Foundation, kind of asking questions about what we're doing, how we do it, why does it work, et cetera. And we educate and we put it out there. But we're kind of a small team relative to everyone else. Nonetheless, we have some great ideas, and we invest a lot into research. And our research led towards vertical integration, layer one platform with Oracle data. It's so important for DeFi to have access to the outside world, right? And also cross-chain communication. Blockchains should communicate with each other. And a big one, automation, which we've launched on mainnet. Automation is a decentralized if this then that service. No other blockchain has a stack, right? And yes, it's early. It's very early. And all the use cases are not just obvious just yet, but they're coming. In fact, we're talking to the dApps right now saying, hey, listen, we will promote you hard as long as first you're a docs team, you're legitimate, you pass audits, and you integrate AutoFi. Oof, that is the sweet spot for us. So as you can see, automation went live. AutoFi dApp has gone live with very simple primitives. It's like a toy. I like to say it's like a toy today, but it will power entire protocols tomorrow. It'll power entire businesses tomorrow. Just we're in an era of AI. AI is about automation also, automating workflows, speaking your intention. I'm trying to do this, help me out in natural language, no code necessary, right? This is what we're building for in DeFi as well. And yet at the same time, you need to have layer one security. Off-chain agents do not have layer one security. Off-chain agents using trusted execution environments, it doesn't matter. It doesn't prevent them from hallucinating, right? So you want to have, for example, many of you know we have Threshold AI Oracle. This is a novel way to bring off-chain AI reasoning on-chain safely. We're pioneers. We're the first to do that as well. But ultimately, where are we moving towards? We're moving to a world where you speak your intention in natural language. You don't have to be a programmer. You get your strategy done. AI helps you craft your automation strategy. It deploys and executes in real time, faster than a high frequency trading firm. That's what I love about this. Is like we're democratizing extremely powerful tools for the everyday user. Yes, you're going to have to educate yourself a little bit, at least, to understand these concepts. However, it's a big deal because these ideas and concepts were only reserved the most brilliant geniuses that had a huge amount of resources to execute high frequency trading firms, right? So I'm very excited about that. So automation is live. The Autify dApp, the no code builder, logic builder is live. Okay, let me be very transparent. Why haven't there been more Autify primitives deployed in mainnet yet? It's because we had to optimize smart contracts to be more gas efficient, right? If you're going to be running tens of thousands of automations, or our system right now is only capped to 500. Remember, we have some safety, things in place to make sure the system is stable and we roll it out slowly. The next iteration is going to 10x the amount of capacity. And then once we kind of roll out version 2 and version 3, we'll have even more capacity. But this is a good start. The audify primitives like trailing stop losses or limit orders, etc., that are going to be engaging more than one DApp, we had to optimize the gas, the cost to run those automations before we could deploy them, because it would just create too much technical debt if we didn't do it now. We're creating the foundation for efficient automation, right? So was it worth an extra 3 weeks, an extra 4 weeks, so to save us months or years later? The answer is yes, right? Another major one is POEL. So multi-asset liquid staking. What is that? It's the ability to bring assets from like Ether or other layer ones to Supra. And then what do? Well, you use that asset as collateral, like Ether. Imagine bringing Ether to Supra, borrowing Super token from our treasury against that Ether as collateral. What do you do with now? You have Super token. You have Ether as collateral. You have Super token. And what do you do with the Super token? You stake it to node operators to earn yield. That's step one. That's the first source of sustainable yield, block rewards, right? Step two, though, this is where the magic really happens. Simultaneously, we what's called rehypothecate, issue you almost like Lido ETH, like a liquid staking derivative token. We issue you what we call an I asset. I stands for intralayer asset. So you buy your Ether, you borrow Supra, you with your Ether as collateral, you stake the Supra to node operators, you earn yield. That's yield source one. Simultaneously, we issue you an I asset, which is iETH now at this stage, that you can use in Super DeFi. This protocol has been imagined almost over a year and a half, 2 years ago. We've been implementing it for quite some time, and it's ready for testnet launch. This will come after Supernova cross-chain communication on mainnet. Okay, so I'll come back to that in a second. But it's good news that, of course, remember, things go to testnet first, devnet, testnet, mainnet, right? And Supernova's been on testnet for quite some time, maybe 2.5 months already, 3 months. Is going to mainnet projected for August 4th. If everything goes smooth at this stage, I know that we were trying to do this like 8 days ago. Do you want a little more time to test it? You gotta just always follow researchers and engineers. If they ask for more time, you give them more time. Even if I said, let's do this now, the answer is nope. The team decides it's out of my control. Right? Fair enough, right? Because safety first, speed is second, third is all the rest. Okay. So proof of efficient liquidity protocol, go to Google supra.com/POEL. You may actually have to like use P lowercase o capital EL. But look up the proof of efficient liquidity program. There is not only the white paper, but an explainer video of what does this mean? What does it do? And effectively, it's multi-asset liquid staking, right? What's powerful about this, once again, dual reward structure. Block rewards plus you have this asset that you can put into Super DeFi to earn potential other additional yield, right? This is the first of its kind. This is the first idea. We're the first to do this. And what's interesting is what's actually happening is you're providing Supra with more economic security beyond just the Supra token. You're actually backing the Supra economic security with other assets like Ether, like Bitcoin, like USDC, right? Those are the main three assets we're going to bring through to us soon. But I'll come back to Supernova in a second. That's our, Supernova actually has to go mainnet first before POEL can go mainnet. But the key point is Supernova has been live on testnet. POEL is just launched on testnet, and it's a very powerful DeFi primitive concept that is just very powerful and kind of fundamental. Now, in what, 3 days, Project Blastoff 2.0, right? We had Project Blastoff 1.0 had launched like 2 years ago. We had massed 512,000 people that we actually KYC'd, right? And 2.0 is just about around the corner in a matter of days. We're talking about like 3-4 days here, right? And there's a lot of gamification. The user experience is even better. We learned a lot. We're applying it. The focus on Project Blastoff, Genesis Rising, is dApps, ecosystem projects. So very excited about that. That's in like 3 days. Next, couple days after, we have these dates, and we're not supposed to say exactly this date because remember, if we're this date plus 1 second, everyone's oh my god, you're a scammer, right? Like you're 1 second late. Nonetheless, so far I connected with the team, and basically August 4th still sounds good. Give it a buffer though, man. Give it a buffer up to a week just in case. Remember, this type of thing, cross-chain communication, traditionally with a bridge, is one of the most vulnerable things in blockchain. It's one of the biggest hacks that have occurred there. And Supernova is designed to be bridge-less. There's no bridge middleware network in between. It's layer one to layer one. We're the first to do this as well. How could you possibly do this? Is very simple once you see it. If our nodes have enough compute capacity and bandwidth to recompute the consensus of the chains we interact with, remember, this recomputation of the consensus is a cryptographic verification. We're talking about like hundreds of milliseconds, like sub-second type of latency, very fast. Does it take up a couple of cores on your CPU? Yes, it does, of course. Does it take up some cryptographic operations to verify this? The answer is, of course, it does. But it's still really fast. And we can skip a middleware network and just communicate with the other chains. This is a big deal. This is the first of its kind, and it's designed to be the most secure system possible. Like it's cryptographically secure. That is what we're going for. Now, if the team wants a little bit more time for testing, the answer is yes. Of course, I would like it yesterday. But at this stage, after like implementing, they're designing it like 2 years ago, moving it from DevNet to testnet to mainnet, a couple more days is absolutely okay. Right. So we're very close. And the team before this call confirmed right now we're on target for August 4th. So that's great. Just remember though, plus or minus a couple days here and there happens. So after Supernova cross-chain communication, remember I mentioned the POEL protocol, right? Multi-asset liquid staking. Why is that important? It's because we bring assets and liquidity to Supra. And we're working with dApps right now to integrate this POL protocol and the I assets into their protocol so that folks can earn. There's a reason to bring assets to Supra. Bring your USDC, bring your Ether, bring your wrapped Bitcoin to Supra. Why? Because you can seek yield. The yield sources are very clear and transparent. One is through block rewards, two is through Supra DeFi. So we're working right now with the dApps, as John mentioned. There's like 4 dApps about to go live, DEXs, lending protocols, money markets, etc., that will be integrating these other, I assets and multi-asset liquid staking assets, right? And basically allowing those assets to do things in Super DeFi. This is about bootstrapping liquidity in a sustainable manner. This is about having stickiness, meaning the rewards, is designed to not just be fleeting, not here today and gone tomorrow, right? A lot of protocols, many of them, have made many promises about attracting liquidity, but where does that yield come from? It's from like tokens from foundation or whatever, and it's not sustainable. And folks bring in their assets and mercenary capital comes in, they kind of suck up all the value and they lead to the next best thing. But this is designed to be very sticky. So that's, so remember, Supernova first, that actually get the cross-chain communication protocol live on mainnet, August 4th, approximately, maybe exactly August 4th. Then, approximately 3.5 to 4 weeks later, POEL from testnet, which has been in development for many months, goes from testnet to mainnet. And that's where we bring in liquidity. Now, this is in theory, could handle, given our market cap, maybe $30-40 million worth of liquidity. But we're not going to start there. We're going to start really small because we just need to take this incrementally, step by step by step. Right. So maybe $500,000 first week, maybe a couple million the next week, et cetera, et cetera. We'll slowly open it up. And I do believe, and we believe, that this system can eventually handle billions of dollars of value, right? And we're excited about this. This has been, when someone has asked us, what has been our go-to-market strategy? The GTM go-to-market is actually, well, let's mature the infrastructure. Let's continue to build community and give reasons for folks in community to be engaged into our layer one, educate them, learn to earn, etc. But instead of super tokens this time, we're not going to be doing the huge airdrops of super tokens. There'll be a limited amount. Of course, we'll do some, but we're focused on the dApps. Those dApps might have points, they might have their own airdrops, right? And yeah, so that's part of it. Of course, get this bridge up is required before the main go-to-market strategy kicks in, which is the POEL, Proof of Efficient Liquidity Protocol, the multi-asset liquid staking protocol. These things that you guys have heard me talk about, our team talked about this for like over a year, right? And guess what? We're finally days away, right? So we just keep on grinding, make every day count. And yes, there's a couple of setbacks here and there, but guess what? If you never stop, you'll get there. Things compound. We're executing on the vision that we promised you years ago. It's coming to reality, not even just testnet, not even just theory, not even just white paper, but actually going to happen. So I'm very excited about that. And just by the way, this requires, our team has been so dogged and determined and constantly pushing the limits even when it's painful, and the value starts to accrue, in my opinion, as a result of doing things that was too painful or difficult for others to do. You got to push the limits to do something new, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, so kind of back to the timeline here. Supernova crossing communication is days away. After that, so Project Blastoff days away. A couple of days after Supernova goes to mainnet. 3 to 5 weeks after that, multi-asset liquid staking, liquidity flows in. dApps are during this period are preparing to accept those assets and do some changes to the protocol to make sure that it can accept these types of assets from Ethereum. After Ethereum, we're probably going to do BNB. After BNB, it might be, who knows, AVAX, other EVM chains, Aptos Sui, right? They're in the works as well. And then after that, after layer ones with Supernova, we'll do layer twos and others. So the next step is Super EVM. Now, Super EVM has been worked on. We've been designing this for like 2 years. It's kind of interesting. I went through conversations with my team, and we had outlined a plan 2 years ago. I can't believe how fast time flies. Now, we are kind of perfectionists, and we really try to make everything as perfect as possible. And part of our intention was to have strong composability between Move language, our Move virtual machine, and the EVMs, the Ethereum virtual machine. I have asked the team, well, can we just deploy with partial composability and like ability to compose with these smart contracts, or even just limited composability, just so we can bring it to market? Because there are many dApps that are EVM based. Remember, Supra is a Move chain based, and there's just only really two Move chains out there, really, right? And then you have EVM, which is like all the rest, right? So there are many dApps, more dApps actually in EVM that want to deploy than there are Move. So trying to get this going ASAP. The team, ultimately, the engineers and researchers, were going to dictate exactly when. So I had to say change it from specific date here for to launching soon, because there's still some decisions here to be made. But it's very close and it performs very well. And not to mention, we have state-of-the-art parallel execution strategies for EVM execution of transactions, right? Instead of Ethereum does sequential execution traditionally, right? But we are doing what are called like software transactional memory, STM approaches, parallel execution strategies. We are outperforming the best parallel execution strategies out there. Especially with our consensus and parallel execution strategies, we do expect us over time to be basically very difficult, or if not impossible to beat, right? Which is a good place to be. Like everything we do, we want to optimize it from data dissemination, consensus to execution. Every single step needs to have optimization. And I guess I should just point it out that everyone should know this. This is very important. Parallel execution, just execution in general, is maybe 20% of the journey of a transaction, from your wallet to RPC nodes to reaching the network, reaching consensus. Data dissemination, that's data dissemination. Just getting your transaction to the network, that's data dissemination, right? To consensus, to execution. Execution is 20%. All the rest is like 80%, right? So folks have focused purely only on execution. They have optimized for the wrong thing. Plus, we just happen to also, we're getting into top academic venues for all these things, but we happen to optimize tailor execution better than, as to our knowledge, the state of the art, but also consensus than others, right? So I'm not trying to say X, Y, and Z, but I kind of am saying that they spent so much money on the wrong thing, that we focused on the right things. And we knew this because we looked at this from first principles, right? And over time, as we remove these kind of artificial delays or these training wheels in our algorithms so we can push the absolute limits, the fastest thing you can do is run the system at network speed. Okay. What does that mean? It means that as fast as the internet is, that's how fast you go. And that is what we're doing. Our algorithms are designed to run at network speed. You just really can't go faster than that. So this is coming soon. Improvements to all our algorithms are coming soon. But let's just go through this. Automation, layer one, Oracle, on-chain randomness, automation, first of its kind, Supra's the first. Everyone's going to want to copy us later. Okay. Audify, AI assisted, no code logic builder that democratize powerful tools for the end consumer. It's so obvious, right? Make tools simple for folks to just express their intention. What am I trying to do? Proof of mission liquidity protocol, multi-asset liquid staking, first of its kind. We had conversations with the founders of Eigenlayer, right? Like a year and a half ago. And the founder of Eigenlayer is actually a close friend with Dr. Kati, our chief research officer. They've known each other from academia years ago. And basically, they said that our POEL protocol doesn't require Eigenlayer's protocol. This is a new way to do it. Similar concepts, actually, but a new way to do it. And they straight up said that there might not be space to use Eigenlayer's approach, that our approach doesn't require it, because but still there's some similarities there. Just want to point that out, that it's interesting that there's similarities but differences here. But yeah, I mean, ultimately Supernova is going next, EVM after that. Let's continue here. There's a couple more slides. Okay, first, decentralized governance vote. Why do we even have to do this in the first place? Well, we had monthly vesting through community discussions, and we ran it through VCs, and we ran it through our quants and economists, etc. But our community asked, why can't, like what we're seeing before was this notion of like people gaming the system because they knew exactly when unlocks were happening. Now, the good news is I think we're over 50% of unlocks, something like this, right? And other protocols that didn't, they have like 1 year cliff of no unlocks before a year or two after they launch, they're all going to have to deal with this eventually. There is no free lunch, right? We are dealing with it. It was really intense. And the thing is, we had moved to a 10-minute vesting schedule, real-time vesting, basically, right? And it was awful. It is not recommended. No one should do this. It seemed to make sense. It's just smoothing out the curve. But in a bear market, now this could possibly work in a very bullish market, but the last 6 months in altcoins was not great. Bitcoin was an outlier and incredible, and we're rooting for it, right? But the truth is, in a bear market, 10-minute vesting was really bad, especially when you have airdrop folks as well, like 500,000 people that have access to tokens, things like this. So we were forced to make a decision. Now we couldn't make that decision ourselves, so we had to do our first community vote. Now these numbers here are just maybe, I think 80% of show up, maybe 70% of show up, but we hit the threshold. We needed at least, I think it was like 70 folks out of like 110 to show up. Super Team Foundation were not involved. It was only node operators and dApps, and they voted that yes, we should move to quarterly vesting. Let's get off of 10-minute vesting. It's not working. It was awful. Let's give ourselves a breather. Let's move to quarterly vesting. So this is kind of where we're at today. So let's talk about some timelines just for full transparency. Okay. So August 21st, in about 3.5 weeks, this will be the last monthly vest. So we moved during this voting period back to the original monthly vest. This will kick in. The unlocks will, the last monthly vest will end on August 21st, approximately, plus or minus a couple of days, depending on or hours, depending on your time zone. And then we move into quarterly unlocks. The folks that have participated in the Comet from the Citadel vaults will be more or less the same time frame, about another day afterwards. Now we have some great things we'll be announcing very soon about this. I don't want to reveal too much. We have a community call, not community call, but a webinar on blockchain revenue models and talking about Supra containers and dApps we're launching. We'll reveal a little bit more on that in a couple of days on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday night, so very, very much around the corner. We will make sure that you folks that participate in this program have great opportunities to have access to dApps, either we are building or ecosystem is building. And then from here, we have 3 months because for first quarterly unlock. At this point, around November 21st, and before then, we'll probably have our next vote to decide what to do next. There'll be other things on the agenda to decide from a decentralized governance vote. How does the community feel about the next steps and directions we should go? So this kind of difficult situation and challenge that we went through and are coming out of has been basically like a crucible and very, very uncomfortable, let's put it that way. Nonetheless, it has forced us into decentralized governance, and I'm very happy about that. And we want to build a system that is a meritocracy, not a plutocracy. Plutocracy is where the rich make all the decisions. You're just going to always have the VCs, team, and foundation influence everything. That's what's happening with DAOs all the time right now, right? We want to avoid that. We want to have a merit-based system. Those that have proven contribution to the network should have a say. Node operators and dApps, and then soon enough, reputation-based systems for even small bag holders that have created content, have done some marketing, made some videos, have done something really interesting. They should have even stakers. They should have a say, right? And their influence should be based off of their contribution. So we're working towards this. We're working with others, even folks in the Ethereum world. We're kind of communicating with to understand their best practice. What do they have learned about decentralized governance? I'm very happy to say that we are moving towards decentralized governance. This has always been the plan. In fact, I would love to be obsoleted within 3 years. I would love to be like, oh, Josh, no, like my I hope my legacy is that I left a structure in place that prevents myself from having control in others. It also is fair and balanced and has longevity as a decentralized governance structure, a new way to view society, actually, right? That's actually what blockchain enables. It's a new way to reconfigure society, right? So, of course, there's all the degen stuff today. There's all this experimented today. And there's all this like bullshit today. But ultimately, this technology is going to shape society. It's going to keep society running and keep it honest and keep AI honest, by the way. So, yeah, so these are timelines for unlocks, right? Um, Blockchains are supposed to be public goods, and they will be public goods, and they need to be decentralized controlled. So, anyways, long story short, I'm actually really happy about the struggles we've been through because it forced us to go into this direction faster than I expected. But this is ultimately very, very healthy, so I'm excited about this. All right, so Project Blast Off, we talked about this. This is in days, 2-3 days from now. So Project Blast Off, it was all viral marketing. It was all referral based. It was word of mouth. 512,000 people actually KYC'd. They weren't all real people. I'll explain that in a second, but that made it way more difficult. Like vast majority were humans, real humans that had like real passports and IDs. And this is very exciting. This is the V2 of this is even better. The gamification is going to be improving, and the development of this is just going to be ongoing. We're going to add more features, more capabilities, and it's really still focused on education. But also the big one is dApp discovery. We're going to be showcasing our ecosystem, giving you reasons to learn about them, to try it out. And they themselves may give you a point system or airdrop themselves, right? But ultimately, we're going to drive a lot of people towards these dApps, try it out to understand DeFi, understand what's different about this. And Supra, what we're moving towards is these super dApps, a layer one that uses these dApps that use our layer one smart contracts, that use our Oracle data, that use cross communication, big one that use AutoFi, right? And this stack literally does not exist anywhere else in our solar system. Okay, so we're the first, and it's so obvious. Like y'all know this if you think about it. Vertical integration is so obvious. It always happens with every single technology. Why not blockchains? The only question you have to ask yourself is there enough compute and bandwidth for a single node or a network to be doing more than one thing? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. And we're basically the opposite bet than the modular approach. Everyone went to the modular approach where we were like, basically Supra and Hyperliquid were the only ones to say, no, we're not doing the modular approach. We're doing vertical integration. That's our thesis. And we're going to be right. I believe we're absolutely correct on this. So this is, once again, like I should say, not financial advice, do your own research, etc. But this is my personal opinion and belief. And I believe it's obvious once you look at it. Okay, so the next system, we didn't require you to stake anything before. This time you need to stake at least 5,000 super token. Maybe we increase it later, we'll see. And to participate, you have to acquire Supra or have Supra already. And then you can join the system for premium services that can actually, gain access to like in-game gamifications, rewards, access to prize draws, etc. Right? Things that you can't. We will have a free tier if you guys can't figure out how to come up with 5,000 super at this price point. It's like $20, $25, whatever. It's fine. You still be able to participate in our system. And but still, we do want you to. If you want to have premium access, you're going to have to figure out how to get super tokens. Okay, we gave away a car, right? Well, we psych. I was kidding. We tried to give away a car. The winner was actually in Vietnam, and we have a lot of folks from many countries, right? That person could not produce or say, "This is my birthday. Here's the KYC information." Apparently, he was part of a farming KYC farm, right? And it happens, and we try to analyze this even after using Onfido, a Web2 professional, like expensive KYC provider. There's still this kind of like scammers trying to gamify the system. So I just want everyone to know in V2, we're going to be extremely strict on this. If we see that anyone's cheating or think you're cheating, we're just going to disqualify you because it's all right, right? Follow the rules, you won't be disqualified, that's fine. So the person we gave the card to, we did the DVRF, the on-chain decentralized randomness, to select them. They couldn't produce their ID again. They have kept on for months. We asked, and they couldn't do it. So we were like, "I'm sorry, you can't qualify. We're going to redraw this." So end of August, in about a month from now, we're going to redraw this. Someone's going to win. Now, to participate, the good news is you don't have to be only in V1 of Project Blastoff. Anyone that participates in the, acquire 5,000 super token to stake it. You're staking. You're not giving us 5,000. You're staking a node operators. You're earning yield on that. You're just contributing economic security to the system. You're showing that you're aligned with our values, right? And then you check into Project Blastoff 2.0, Genesis Rising, at least once a day for 14 days in a row. That means like you're paying attention, you're engaging it, then you're qualified. So new people that did not make PPO 1.0, you're in the running for this. People that were in PPO 1.0, you also can have access to just participate, right? So we're going to give away a car. We said we're going to do it. Word is bond. If we say something we're going to do, we're going to do it. So that's coming soon. So remember, everyone that is new here, you could win the car. And I want to give the car away, and I want to have our super logo on it, and I want that money shot.
we have to do the full wrap, and we have to, like, Josh, we got to fly to whatever country the winner is at, and just do like
bow
a
tie and everything,
video,
right? Yeah. So hopefully you're not in Singapore because that might be twice as expensive for taxes. But we'll see. We'll see. We really want to even give the product away, and it's going to be branded with Supra logos, and we expect you to drive it around and say, yeah, I love Supra. Okay, so let's continue here. Okay, Supernova, as I mentioned, first week August 4th. Right now is still the time we're going for this. Layer 1 to layer 1 cross-chain communication, first of its kind. Simple idea. Recompute the consensus of the chains you interact with. Extremely powerful, cryptographically secure, and fast, right? So this is it's been a labor of love, and this is one of the things I'm extremely proud about. And we have designed other bridges that are more traditional, like the other bridges out there, right? And then I just remember, like, on the research call, Dr. Kate literally just so matter of fact was talking to, I think, Dr. Rog and others, and said, "Why don't we just recompute the consensus?" I was like, "Oh!" After like months of like deep research on like designing other like game theoretically secure. And by the way, we do have a game theoretically secure design for Bridge, which is the first of its kind as well. This is better. And it was like immediately once we heard it, no, like, oh my God, what about all the sunk costs, all the research and time we put into this other design? It took me about 3 seconds. And I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely better. So like Supra has this culture of let the best idea win, no matter where it comes from. Of course, it came from a super genius Dr. Kate, right? Which has made it easier to accept. But still, like it doesn't matter where the idea comes from. If it's better, let it win. And that's our culture. I think everyone on our team can attest to that. And yeah, so this, I'm very proud of this. You might have noticed our branding is changing a little bit. We decided like Supra native products and services, dApps, that we create for our ecosystem is we're just going to make sure that everyone knows this from Supra directly. So we're just going to use our branding. So Supernova is coming out. QL is coming out, Autofly is coming out, Supra Scan. These are all kind of Supra ecosystem projects that we're bringing to market here. Very close here. So POEL, Proof of Efficient Liquidity Protocol, POEL, also known as multi-asset liquid staking, right? So you bring your Ether to Supra, you borrow Supra against that Ether, right? You earn block rewards, you stake it to no optics, you earn block rewards. That's the first source of yield. But you stay liquid, you get this I asset, you get your IETH that you can put into Supra DeFi to potentially get more yields, right? Dual reward structure, you know exactly where the yield is coming from, it's transparent and it's sustainable. Take a look at it. Go to go.supra.com/MALS, multi-asset liquid staking. Take a screenshot if you need. Understand this and understand like how this works. And this is, as I said, is on testnet already. Going to mainnet soon. dApps are deploying, integrating this right now. All right, continuing here. So for POEL or multi-asset liquid staking, POEL is proof of efficient liquidity protocol. Simpler way to understand that is multi-asset liquid staking. What's really interesting about this is that we bring like other Ether, USDC, Bitcoin to Supra that actually provides economic security to our layer one. Instead of just relying on one token for economic security, we can actually bring other assets. Like a basket of goods for economic security is first of its kind. This model, by the way, I think others will copy this later as well. But the why is because you get this economic security bootstrapping, but also bring assets into the system, right? And frankly, this is really exciting for us as well. So these are the first assets. After this, other ERC20 tokens from Ethereum will be coming in, then other tokens from other EVM chains, and then other ecosystems, Aptos, Sui, Solana, eventually layer twos, right? Um, will support many based off the demand, right? So anyways, this is very exciting. Look it up, watch your explainer videos, put your glasses on, drink a coffee in the morning, focus on that. But it's a very good idea. Read the white paper, put the white paper through AI. It's a I love this idea. It's really great. And we just achieved many of our objectives to bootstrap liquidity, provide economic security, and many other things. So I'm very excited about this. And we're the first to do this as well. Okay. So as I mentioned, Super EVM, we wanted to go full composability across VMs, partial composability, or maybe we could go faster just by launching it without the composability through the virtual machines. Like maybe it's like multi-hop steps between one virtual machine on Supra, like a move layer, move virtual machine asset, moving to the Supra Ethereum virtual machine asset. It might be a multi-hop conversion process, maybe more limited initially, but eventually our vision is to be actually have composability, meaning they can interact. The virtual machine doesn't matter, right? But the idea is that Super is fast, native Oracle, native cross communication, automation. Let EVM, Ethereum, dApps have access to this. And also, we also innovated very fast parallel execution strategies. At this stage, I'm very confident to say that there's no other project that has better parallel execution strategies, to my knowledge. Not Monad, not what's the other one? EVM, EVM.
Mega ETH.
Mega ETH is, yeah. I mean, they're there too. I don't think they're doing anything the exactly for the parallel execution. I think they may be just doing Reth or Rust-based EVM implementation with PEVM, parallel EVM, and we outperform PEVM by 33%. So we're competing with layer twos as well in a centralized system, and we expect better performance, at least for the execution component. So, and I'm talking about like we're already basically getting into top academic venues for this. Why do we bring that up? It's because these academic journals are double-blinded, peer-reviewed, meaning they don't know who the authors are. They don't know it's us. It's purely on the merits of the ideas. our branding's not on it, or the authors are not on it. They look at the data, they read it, and they say, okay, this is interesting, and then you get it accepted to this. Supra has like 5 protocols this year into CCS. CCS is the most elite computer science journal in the world. Same places where Aptos and Suite get published, right? We got like 4 or 5 of these this year alone. This is the first time. But when I say that we're pushing limits and we're not stopping. We never got into CCS before this. We got to other really great menus. This is the first time we got like 4 of them in there this year alone. So why does this matter? Why does it care? Who cares about academia? Well, turns out like Solana's entire pivot was because of academia, because they're saying like their approach was not the most efficient, and they got researchers and academics involved to do Alpha and Glow, which looks a lot more like Moonshot. It looks a little closer to Hydrangia and Moonshot than they ever considered. We are always on the right path, right? And why? Is because you're forced and you have to think through first principles, right? Like a scientist. Golly gee, that's what a good idea, right? Well, guess where most of the breakthroughs in AI came from? Came from computer science, right? So the investment that we have been making into Supra, it's like the predominant investment is engineers and researchers, right? And that's the bet that John and I took. We think it's important. We think peer review process is important. We think first principle thinking is important, and we think that ultimately these things is an investment into the future. And folks are waking up to the fact that, as I mentioned, Ethereum Foundation researchers, the Solana Foundation researchers are looking into Hydrangia, looking into things we're doing. These are things that we are doing independently already, just purely focusing on first principles, right? And it's like the physics of nodes, nodal physics, the physics of nodes around the system, the world, right? The fact that one communication step from one node to another, there's latency, there's speed of light limitations. You have to think in those terms, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's I think that's it in this presentation. There's more to discuss. Let me stop this here. I hope that was exciting to you guys. I hope you guys all know that. Like, basically, I hope you guys can tell. Like, John and I are like, and I hope James, you are too, bullish. I love what
Always
we do.
bullish. Always bullish when, I mean, all it takes is 4 slides and you cover it in 45 minutes because there's so much that comes out of you every time you see it.
Well, I mean, I'm just very grateful to be surrounded by our team. Man, it's such a privilege to be around good energy, but geniuses. Like, I get to, like, my job is pretty much just to say, let's go, let's try to do this in a creative manner. And their job is to say, like, yes, I understand it, but we don't break the rules. We don't break the laws of physics. We don't break the laws of, decentralization, and we follow first principles. And why? Because we're all in pursuit of the ultimate highest performing mechanism physically possible. That's what we're building. That's literally what we're building in everything we do, every protocol. Like, we think through first principles. And why is that important? It's because, well, if you do that properly, it turns out you can't beat it. So that's really our thesis and motivation.
All right, I'm going to ask a couple of follow-up questions here, guys. There are some questions that have come through from the community as well. Let me just ask real quick. Josh, you've been heard mentioning internally an ICO 2.0 type of platform as we come close to the launch of our common fund sale platform. Of course, you mentioned that as the Citadel vaults unlock, there will be an opportunity for those Citadel stakers to actually get discounts on projects and dApps that are running their token sales on our common fund platform. And you mentioned an ICO 2.0 type of platform. Can you just explain what do you mean by that concept, ICO 2.0?
Yeah. So just before, I just had a good question here. When will Super be available in US? These exchanges are, they have their own process. We have no influence on it. And however, we do have an integration with the wallet through Banxa, BANXA, where folks can actually use credit cards in America, other places, I think like, I don't know, 50 countries, to access Supra, right? And also other assets. So I think we're like a week away on that as well. I should have added that to the timeline. So very soon, anyone can just access it from many places. back to your question, James. ICO 2.0, and it's basically still a crowdfund, non-custodial, community-based, but with consumer protection. What does that mean? It means like decentralized governance. Like the project doesn't get all the money all at once. That's like the worst thing you could do. You know, I'm not going to name names, but there's projects that have done this recently, but also years ago. It set a record. I think it was like $4 billion, and man, that is like what they have today is so. Let's put it that way. You know, so it's like, what did they do with all that money? It's obvious they didn't really build. I'll tell you that much. ICO 2.0 is milestone based, so project launches on Common Fund. Uh, their tokens are not all released all at once. Instead, there's going to be decentralized governance that decides, okay, maybe I think 30% initially to help them get going, then 20%, 20%, 20% or something like this, 25%, whatever, in tranches over different milestones. Now, if a team ever tries to rug or leave or not hit their milestones, they're not going to get paid out and everyone gets refunded, basically. That's a very simple idea, but it's powerful because what we have in the past done is just, here's all the money, here you go. Be responsible. 1% of projects are really responsible. Supra is one of them, by the way. We respected this process. But in our case, we're going to dox everyone. They're going to sign contracts in terms of who they are and what they're going to do. And decentralized governance is going to decide if they're going to release the next tranche to the next tranche to the next tranche. Basically, if the project disbands or gives up, the backers will get the refund or partial refund at least. Very simple idea. That's basically the idea behind ICO 2.0. There'll be more things, but that's the gist of it.
And John, you've been intimately involved in the biz dev process, working with the dApps. Which of the dApps are getting close to Common Fund launch? Are you able to share that info with us?
I think let's wait till Wednesday. So this Wednesday we have a webinar, and we will give a couple hints during the webinar. Of course, the webinar is about talking about containers. There's some relationship with containers and Common Fund, Citadel, and what's to come. So why don't we save that for Wednesday? 2 days, please tune into that. But I have to say that, like in general, I've had so many amazing calls with our ecosystem projects. Every call I'm on, the number one advice I'm giving them is, please do your best to implement AutoFi. And of course, figure out what is going to give your users a better user experience, a better experience in your application, but implement AutoFi because our community absolutely loves it. Everyone here wants to see some AutoFi functionalities. And in general, it is the unique selling point right now of the Supra chain and the Supra ecosystem. So really excited. Some of the projects that will be launching on Common Fund and through Citadel will have AutoFi functionalities. And really, like Josh mentioned before, this is something that we encourage. We encourage all of you that are building on Supra. Please think, and it's going to take some creativity, because right now, like on autofi.supra.com, a lot of the things look like a toy. They look interesting and exciting, but really it's going to take our community some real creativity to use AutoFi to the max. And we're just excited about what we're building internally at Supra, and also we're seeing some amazing things from our ecosystem as well. So I'll just say for now, tune in on Wednesday. We're going to give some hints about what's to come, who might be launching on Citadel Common Fund, and then who might be implementing AutoFi functionalities that we're excited about.
Speaking of AutoFi, Vincent asks, will there be auto staking?
Sure, why not? I mean, there's no reason why that can't be possible. So, for example, suppose you're providing liquidity to a DeFi protocol, and you're earning yield on that from lending or whatnot. That yield could potentially be automatically delegated to a node operator for auto staking. Things like this is, it's the beginning. These new primitives, there's going to be so many new AutoFi primitives that you can mix and match together and compose them together to automate your workflow. So automated staking, no problem. I believe that it's going to be a natural thing folks do. Also, like automatically simple one, right? Okay, I borrow some tokens from a lending protocol, or I provide a liquidity to another one, and the yield I'm earning or the interest I'm earning, I can use it to pay off another position or stake it, et cetera, and then use the staking rewards to, kind of like, yeah, basically just automate the workflow. So absolutely, these things are in the pipeline, and folks will do things that we have never thought of. That's the really exciting thing about this. It's an open green field, and especially developers are going to do things we just couldn't have thought of. Really excited about that.
So staying on AutoFi real quick, John, you actually mentioned, and I agree with you. I wrote this in one of my questions. It's probably the most talked about innovation on Supra this year. I'm curious to know what are some of the really cool use cases of AutoFi among the dApps currently working? Do you have any favorites?
I mean, no favorites. I don't want to play favorites at the moment. I think the first project to implement AutoFi, let's see, I believe it was Solido. So Solido is a stablecoin project, and they implemented the ability to auto liquidate positions. And I think that, we talk about having good versus bad MEV. Good, actually, MEV is being able to liquidate positions to keep DeFi healthy. So that's good MEV. Also, auto arbitrage. That's good MEV as well. So I guess kudos. I'll just say, without playing favorites, the first really to implement AutoFi was the Solido team.
All right, and man, there's so many questions, but we are out of time here. Okay, let's go with Sheikh Musa. So I asked a couple of people for their questions, and Sheikh Musa asked this one: when? So this is just ballpark dream. You guys can think about a ballpark time frame. When do you think Supra will be among the top L1s? And they didn't say the metric, whether they mean market cap or whether they mean infrastructure, because infrastructure we're probably already there. In terms of volume of transactions, we're almost there. But I don't know, do we say market cap? Are we allowed to say that? NFA, of course. But the question is simple. When do you think Supra will be among the top 10 L1s?
It's funny. I think 2 days ago, I asked Grok this question, and I asked about what are the current top 10 most innovative blockchains. And initially, it didn't put Supra among the top 10. And I asked why. It said, "Oh, because market cap." And I'm like, okay, well, if you take out, if you kind of, just for now, because we're still in the early stages, but we're very innovative and we have amazing technology, and we're just like a research-led amazing team. I asked, okay, well, if you exclude market cap and circulating supply, what are the top 10 most innovative blockchains? And Supra, I believe it was top 6, and that was nice to see. And I even opened, I believe I opened up a separate chat, like just to double check that. So I took the same question, and it like, just to make sure it wasn't biased on the same conversation, and I believe it was the same output. So already I know, and Josh knows this too, we have the confidence to say that we are among the top innovative projects right now. And
yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say Grok has to update itself. The truth is, we're the most advanced blockchain in the world. I mean, I'm willing to die on the hill. Show me something more advanced. I mean, even our Sailfish consensus is outperforming the other DAGs, and we're not even going with Sailfish because we have something even more performing. We have a layer one with high performing, low latency, true finality Oracle price feeds, cross-chain communication that's bridgeless, automation, single stack, and we're building dApps. You literally don't have something better than that. So, I mean, of course, this is my opinion, and our competitors are not going to love to hear that. Not to mention parallel execution strategies that are even outperforming, say, PVM, Monad, right? For EVM execution, I'm serious. Like, this is outperforming them. to my knowledge, like absolutely. And like apples to apples, if you run it, our algorithms are better. We just have to bring to market faster and bring to mainnet, right? Rock sometimes thinks that we're not mainnet yet. So I like, okay, we should start to wake up. We're on mainnet. We've been on mainnet. But once we're fully stacked with, especially with automation and Autify and our Autify primitives, like, look, like this is my opinion, right? And I'm obviously very biased, but I'm confident that this is the most advanced blockchain in the world, and it will continue to be. So yeah, with that said, let's keep on going. I mean, the job's not done, and even after all the infrastructure is done, the job's not done. The dApps, and even after that, there's more. So yeah, that's kind of my point of view, John. Why don't you have the last say? You and my job. Yeah. No. So thank you so much for joining this. I do want to just address some folks. I was in a private community group. That I just said, hey guys, if you guys are not going to be, if you're just going to talk about price all the time, or not contribute in terms of, you know, word of mouth or content creation or creative output or whatnot, then why am I spending time here answering your same questions over and over again? So I know some of you folks might be on the call. I want you to know that I love you all. We love you all. We appreciate you all. I wasn't storming off like in bitterness. I was like, oh, actually, I'm just going to leave this, start a new group, and have very strict rules. You're like, if you're going to be part of this conversation, by the way, you don't have to be a huge token holder. You just have to be a proven contributor to the network. That could be an NFT designer. It could be, it could just be someone that's creating content. If you're positive, value, provide value, I want to be around you, right? And we want to engage you. We appreciate it. But if you're just going to be talking about this or that, or what's the point? Like, So, anyways, I just want to mention, because I saw a couple of folks here wondering what's up, and I'm going to say, like, don't worry, we're fine, we're happy, we're excited. As you can tell, I'm not bitter, not angry. You're allowed back in. I'll bring you in, but we're just going to reset the rules. The rules are going to be in communities that I'm going to be in are be polite, be constructive, have good feedback, right? And be respectful. That's it. So yeah, we're over time. I have to hop. John and I have more to do. James, thanks so much. We have another webinar on Wednesday. We've been doing this like every week for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
gentlemen.
James.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
guys.
James.
To everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning in.
Later.
Yeah.
Stacking up the blocks while they sleeping on the tech. We be breaking all the locks. Started from the vision, now we running with precision. Oracle's automation, man, we changing the division. Multi-VM flex, ain't no stopping the ignition. Cross-chain communication, now we breaking